Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
This is Dirty Laundry with Chris and Karen.
Hope you're all having a great day.
We are. It's not raining. It's not windy right now.
No, it's gorgeous. So today we want to talk about loneliness.
Are you lonely?
Tonight.
Are you lonely?
Oh, let's not do that.
You know, that's another thing. I really want to learn how to sing.
Okay.
You know, I got in the shower last week and I went, okay, I hope nobody shows up. You know, it was late. And I just belted out a song. And it really wasn't bad. It was Desperado. It's about the right, because I can sing high and I can sing low, but it's that going from low to high. I didn't realize you have to have good muscles.
Yes.
It's all about your muscles.
And breath.
Yeah.
Well, I don't sing well at all. But that was actually, that's so cool that you said that, because I've been looking up things of how to overcome loneliness on the internet. And one of them was singing.
Really?
Yeah. Because if you sing, it makes you feel better. It's all about lifting your spirits if you think about it.
Yeah.
Right? So there are a lot of ones that were pretty silly that I thought that I didn't write down and stuff. But that was one of them. And I thought, yeah, okay, I can see that. Because you know how if you're driving in your car and you're singing, or you're home, dancing was another one. Yeah. And I can see that.
I can see that too.
Cranking up the music and dancing.
I can definitely understand that.
Yeah.
I'm a dancer.
Yeah.
I love to dance.
And it just lifts your spirits
it really
automatically.
Does. It really does.
You know, and there's different kinds of loneliness. Obviously, people who have depression and have loneliness from that. That's a whole different ballgame that we're not talking about that. We're talking about everybody gets lonely at one point or another. And
have you been lonely? I mean, you can be lonely in a relationship.
Yeah, that's right. And I was going to say, the more I thought about this, I've thought about this topic a lot. I thought, I don't think loneliness is necessarily a bad thing.
No, it's not.
No. And so then I was thinking about what's the worst kind of loneliness for me. I could be a hermit really easy. If I, had a big enough piece of property and had everything that I wanted right there, like creatively, and gardening and whatever, that would be fine. I could stay there forever, which is kind of bad. And I might get lonely once in a while, but probably not that much, that's probably not a real healthy thing in the long run.
No,
I don't know.
But, I mean, wouldn't you come to town a lot?
Yeah.
You see your friends.
No, I'm saying there's been times in my life years ago where I lived out and away from people, and I found that the longer I stayed away and didn't talk to somebody, I'd go for 3, 4, 5 days without hearing my own voice or seeing anybody else. And I was working on my little creative projects, at the time, and I was happy. I was really happy. And then I think, maybe this isn't good for you. So I, go into town or, like that. But I think for me personally, and for a lot of people, the worst and kind of loneliness is being with someone in a relationship and being lonely.
Yeah.
And I encountered this more than anything else personally, being in a group of people, being, volunteering someplace or going to a party or to a gathering, and you start talking to people and you realize I have absolutely nothing to say to these people. Yeah. Nor do I care what they have to say. It's not like they're not nice people and they're not fun people and they're not smart people. You just don't connect with them. And it's just small talk.
Yeah.
And they're not really saying anything. To me, that's the worst kind of loneliness.
And it's true, a lot of people like to talk just so that there's no space. And that is one of the things that's really important, is like, it's okay to have space, whether you're with a girlfriend or I'm not a big talker. In my last relationship, he did most of the talking. And you know who you are.
I can relate.
And sometimes I would listen, or I would look at myself. I would stand back and watch the dynamics, and I would go, God, you're boring. If I have something to say, you're going to know it. But I just don't often. Look at all the space I've got.
Well, that goes along with the quote that I got off the internet. It's a really great site. It's just called Loneliness Quotes. And one of them is, if you don't understand my silence, how will you understand my words?
That's so beautiful.
Isn't it?
I love that.
Yeah, I do too.
It's very important to allow for silence, because there's so much that's said in silence. We're not supposed to be talking all the time. Mm-mm. Our brains aren't supposed to be chattering all the time, but they do. I'm actually reading Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now right now. And it's really great because he talks about how we have been taken over by our brains. Our brains are our taskmaster. Our brains are what tell us what to do next. And it's like our brains are supposed to be there for certain things. But for living?
Yeah.
For daily what we feel? No, our brains have nothing to do with what we feel.
I love that book. That is the one. I was thinking, because when I read it, when I used to walk to work, it seemed like my brain was always going and I couldn't stop it. And I knew the stuff that it was telling me was kind of negative and influenced my moods. And I was going to work and it was a place that I really didn't want to go. And so then your brain really starts talking to you, right?
Yeah.
So I'd walk to work and I'd do that thing, stop, like he'd say, just stop it. And at first it doesn't work. But after a while, if you practice it enough, it does. As soon as I'd say stop, would be like, okay, I could just get quiet.
It's
silence.
Yoga of the brain.
Right. But it's hard to do. I need to start doing that again.
I know, me too.
Well, getting back to the point.
The subject.
Yeah. No, I think that is totally on point. That we were talking about being lonely with someone or at a party. That was like number 4 in this list I had. It can help you kind of examine your life if you're feeling that. So if you're at a party and, like I said, all these people are nice and you're lonely, why? What is it that they're saying, or that you're missing, or maybe you're not missing? Why are you feeling like that in a group of people? It's like, why are you feeling like that in the relationship? Is it time to say hasta la vista? Examine. It's a good time to examine. Why am I feeling lonely?
Well, I went on and I went to Krishnamurti, and he had some really interesting things to say, and also Eckhart Tolle, and there are some funny things he said. But Krishnamurti was saying attachment is an escape from loneliness. So we attach ourselves to things like people, to drinking, to all kinds of things, to escape from that feeling. And he says that any movement at all away from loneliness strengthens the loneliness. So to me, that is like we are afraid of whatever's coming up for us. We're not happy within ourselves. We've forgotten the power of who we are. We've forgotten that we love ourselves. We've forgotten that we like ourselves. And when we forget all those things, we go looking for it somewhere else. And when you go looking for it somewhere else, like he says, an escape from loneliness only deepens the loneliness, because we're always trying to get away from that feeling that makes us uncomfortable. And instead, like we talk about, being comfortable with the uncomfortableness.
Right.
What does that mean? How can there's something I need to pay attention. To me, it's like a red flag. Red flags going off in our life and saying, there's something you need to pay attention to. Why don't you feel good with yourself? Do you feel that being with somebody else is going to make you feel better. And really, until we feel okay in ourselves, we can't feel better with anybody else.
Right. And you can use that time to be, well, like I just said a little while ago, I use that time to be creative, and it can open up your creative side.
Yes.
It can push you to reach out to people. It just can inspire you in so many ways if you use it right. It gives you time to examine, what do I want to do? What should I be doing? Why am I feeling like this?
Mm-hmm. What's coming up?
Right.
There's something, maybe something's bubbling up that if we don't allow creativity to bloom and to give birth to itself, sometimes it's like Michael Meade talks about in one of his lectures. It's called The Light Inside Dark Times, and he says that creativity is born in the darkness. In the shadows, and it's like a seed. You can't see what's underneath the soil, but all this stuff is going on. And we're humans, I won't say all humans, but a lot of humans don't like not knowing what they're doing next. We're always about what's next, what's next, what's next. What do we have to look forward to? And that takes us away from now. It's always about trying to get somewhere else. And that is part of loneliness.
Also, I think it's telling you, well, it's kind of what you just said in a way, but it's time for a change. What is it that you need to change in your life? Is it what you're doing? Do you need to move? The way you think about yourself? It could be a million different things, but it's time for change, I think.
Yeah. Change is inevitable, really, all the time. It's
like whether you want to or not, you're going to change.
Right.
Yeah.
And I really like I don't know if it's a thought or whatever, but you know how you go, oh, I don't like that. Oh, I'm not attracted to that. Well, how do you know you're not? That's what you were. How are you now? And we have to, it's kind of like in marriage or a relationship, every day you make the choice. Do I want to be with this person? Instead of, okay, this is the way it is, and we're always changing. So we have to be able to move, because life is like water. There is nothing that's solid or for sure. There's nothing for sure.
No. And it's funny. I think, getting back to being with people and being lonely, I think the reason some people want to be in a relationship or stay married is so they won't be lonely.
Oh, yeah.
That's their definition, so that they won't be lonely. But they are lonely.
And sometimes lonelier
with someone
because
they're not getting anything back from the person.
Right. Yeah, they thought by being with this person it would take care of whatever's going on. But if you haven't taken care of what's going on, nobody else can take care of that.
And if you feel that you need another being in your life that's going to stop you from being lonely, go rescue an animal.
Yeah, get a dog, get a cat.
Dog, get a cat, whatever, because they're going to give you more joy than being with someone who isn't really there for you.
Yeah, how do you know they're not just as lonely and looking for the same things, and you're each trying to feed off of the other for the wrong reasons? Being with somebody for the wrong reason is not a good reason to be with them.
No, that's true. Unless it's really good sex. No.
Yeah, well, at least for a night. I don't know. I'm even past that. It's funny. In this Eckhart Tolle, he said that someone wrote in about they were lonely because they didn't have a life partner, and they're trying to stay in the now instead of the deep longing. And so he goes, well, I won't say that you can find it by internet dating. And I really liked what he said. There's a part in every person. We identify with the physical form. And he says the essence is to be able to transcend on the level of form. Even if you have a partner, if you haven't gone deeper beyond the form identity of who you are, nationality, status in society, gender, even in relationships. You might have found your partner, but you won't be satisfied in the spiritual dimension.
Right.
And he says people on the outside have a longing to get into a marriage, and people that are in a marriage want to get out of a marriage.
That's so true.
So it's really interesting, but he says that he talks about inner spaciousness. And I like that. We have this spaciousness inside. We have a world that is boundless, but we don't really connect with that because we're so much in our brains.
In our head and listening to our mind.
And our mind
constantly.
is a jailer.
Yeah.
Our mind is a total jailer.
Yeah.
It keeps us looking a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
We see the world because we've been taught to see the world like that. There's so much more than what we see.
And our mind is a nag. Mine nags me all the time in the middle of the night trying to sleep. And it's just yum.
Yes. Do you ever sleep and you wake up thinking?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, it's terrible.
So learning how to control that is so freeing.
It is.
It's just amazing.
And it'll help you sleep, too.
Yeah.
I've really been working on that.
Me too. It's tough. In the United States, I just read, and I can't remember how many people, but it's a huge percentage of people in the United States that has become a health problem now.
Sleep?
Yes.
Oh.
Lack of sleep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's because your mind is going all the time.
Well, and what happens is it actually can cause diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it spikes your blood sugar, and it does all kinds of things that we don't even think about. You know, it's really bad for your weight.
Yeah.
It makes you gain weight if you don't get enough sleep. And that's, since I haven't had to get up and go to work at any particular time,
Mm-hmm.
I've been sleeping till like 9.
Whoa.
I know.
She says who gets up at 9:30 or 10. During the winter I do. There's no reason to get up. So I found these online ideas to get over or to help with your loneliness. And number one is, we've said this so many times for so many different things, is volunteer.
Yeah, that's great.
Volunteer, and you can find out what you're interested in.
And there's so many.
There's
so many things to do.
whether it's with animals, people, your church, the hospital, social groups, creative groups.
Boys and the Boys and Girls Club. I've thought about doing something like that.
Yeah, that'd be great. The second one, at first I thought this was funny, kind of, and then I thought, no, we live in a small town. You can't go see a movie. You go see a movie in a small town, and you're going to see half the town.
Yeah,
there.
you think you're going to go by. Well, I like to sometimes go by myself.
I do too.
I've never gone by myself yet.
Right.
Because I always run into somebody.
Right. And after the movie, even if you are by yourself, you're going to see somebody you know, and then you're going to discuss it. You're going to stand there and talk to them for a while. And by the time you get done, you're going to want to be by yourself again. Right?
But I'm always happy when I see somebody. I mean,
and it's fun to discuss movies and get other people's opinions on it. The fourth one was identify the cause of your loneliness. We just talked about that. And I love this because I'm a big reader. It said read fiction. Specifically read fiction. Because if it's nonfiction, you kind of, it can be something depressing, or, you know, what's going on in the world, or you're not going to get too lost in that. If you're reading fiction, you're getting lost in a basic fantasy land.
That's true.
And you're not thinking about yourself or your problems so much.
And there's so many great books.
And you just kind of get lost in the book. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
And dance, we already said dance. This one is great too. Go for a walk, or if you run, go for a run. I mean, there's nothing better than just walk around your block. You don't even have to go for a hike. Walk around your block. Walk slowly. Look at the birds. Look at the plants.
Feel everything.
Yeah.
I have, I love nature, and just being with trees and listening to the birds, like you said, and you just never know what you're going to come across, and feeling the wind on your face.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
And then go get coffee. Go to a coffee shop. And so in a small town, you're going to run into people, but even in the city, I always loved sitting in a coffee shop and just looking at people and
I went there
people
yesterday.
watching.
I didn't go because I was lonely,
Uh-huh.
but I went to read and do some
Yeah.
studying. But there was a guy there. Oh my God. He talked so loud that everybody else had to hear his conversation because it was so important.
Loud talker
Ah.
Seinfeld. But coffee shops a great. If there's a wine bar in your area, go have a glass of wine. You can do that by yourself.
Yeah, it's
and
fun.
meet people. There'll be other people there, and you can discuss the wine. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
To me, it is.
Take a walk in the evening.
Yeah.
Down in your downtown area.
Yeah.
Like we have a cute downtown area, and
Run into people, or
Yes.
if you're in a city, it's really fun to walk
Yeah.
around. Take classes.
yeah, we're about to do hopefully
Yeah, a couple of different
class.
classes: a painting class and a silver clay class.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, and plan a holiday. Or what's a good one? Oh, they had a funny example of, say you kind of don't look forward to going to see your family on Thanksgiving and Christmas or birthdays or whatever. Sometimes if you're lonely, you start looking forward to that and kind of, again, take control of your mind, turn that around a little bit and make it fun.
Yeah.
You don't have to stay there for a week. You can go for overnight. That will totally make you feel good about coming home and being by yourself, right?
Yeah.
It does me. It
It's
works.
like, get me out of here.
No, but just stay there long enough to enjoy your family, and then come home.
Yeah.
Or plan, if you can, plan a vacation, like a getaway. Whether it's overnight, get on a bus,
Or just
get on a plane, and just do it spontaneously.
I love the spontaneous. I have literally driven down my road, about to make a left to go into town. I went, nah. And I make a right. And I just go up the coast.
Yes.
And I've had the most wonderful, wonderful experiences, mostly with birds. Just things I would never see, but I just decided to go. The other thing is get some people together and have them come over to your house. And like we did a pajama party recently.
Yeah, it was so fun, and
Yeah.
I met some amazing women that I've heard about and been wanting to meet. We also have you can do a book group, you can do a movie group. If you're one of those people that don't like to see movies by themselves, you can do a wine group. Oh, and online there's a whole website called Meetupcom, and it will tell you things going on in your area, and it kind of categorizes them. Like it could be art, it could be sports,
It could be hiking.
it could be just a social happy hour get together once a month. There's all kinds of options.
Yeah.
So that's meetup.com. And it's everywhere. It is everywhere.
I get
it doesn't matter where you live.
Sent to my email.
Yeah. So there's just all kinds of things to do if that's what you need to get out of your loneliness.
But I do think, and I'm going to stress it again, that it's really important that if we're feeling lonely, it is something calling to us from within. And that, we are social beings. Most people need to have some kind of interaction. It doesn't have to be every day. Like I'll be with friends for a few days and then I'll be really happy when I come home.
Yeah.
And I don't have to talk. I don't have to. Do you ever have this where, this is a little off subject, but somebody will start talking and I just lose all my energy. Like, I don't want to say another word.
I know. I'm like that on the phone. I don't really like to talk on the phone. I never have liked to talk. Well, maybe when I was a teenager, but I don't like to talk on the phone.
I know, I'm not much of a phone
But
talker.
what I have a hard time with is just kind of what you said, but I will kind of position myself if someone goes into, especially in a social occasion, like a party or something, and somebody will start talking, and you kind of just like smile.
Your eyes are glazed over.
It's like the curtains go down in your eyes, and then you realize after a while, I don't know what they're talking about anymore, and I need to act like I know what they're talking about, so you kind of come back for a while. But that's bad.
That's lonely.
Yeah, that's lonely. That's like, oh, it's time to go home.
Well, yeah, I have family members that, will discuss that they're lonely, and I like to stress that we are the rulers of our life, and bad things happen, and sad things happen. But we still need to do the best we can for ourselves.
And interact. I mean, it's like, one of the main things I read too was you have to force yourself. Some people have to literally force themselves to get out and do some of these things. And I was also surprised, I think it was in Psychology Today, they were talking about how they do these surveys, and who knows what, if they're any good. But a lot of young people say that, and by young I mean in teenagers, 20s, 30s, say that they're lonely now too, more than in the past, according to them, because they're blaming technology, because so many people are on their screens.
There's no interaction.
There's really no interaction. And so you kind of almost lose the skill to talk to someone.
It's true.
One-on-one.
Yeah.
And those people on Facebook, most of them really aren't your friends.
No. Just in case you didn't know that.
A lot of people don't.
Yeah.
A lot of people spend
a lot of time. Ever since I got my iPhone, I admit I spend more time on my phone, and I actually want to just like turn it off and make a plan that I'm only going to be on it for certain times. Everybody will know. I mean, obviously, if they need to call, they can call. But that we're not constantly just staring at this thing or staring at our computers. Live our lives. Let's just live our lives.
And if you have something to say, call the person and actually talk to them. I called Karen yesterday instead of texting or sending an email, because I felt the need to actually talk on the phone a little bit and get the message out there. But yeah, I just forget my phone all the time.
That's good. Well, you have one of those shitty
I have a stupid phone. I don't have a smartphone. And I wanted to be the last person on earth to have a phone, but I was forced into it. And now I'm going to shoot for being the last person on the planet to have a smartphone. Yeah. Because I just want a phone. I don't need all that other stuff.
You don't want a Maxwell smartphone?
No. A shoe phone. That would be cool. Yeah. In boots. Yeah. I could go for that. But I just want my phone to be, I don't need it to take pictures or anything. So I think we're at the end of...
Well, I think we're to the end.
Okay.
And wow, this went really fast.
It went really, really fast.
Are you lonely out there? Who's lonely? If you are,
right, then you should email us.
Yeah, talk to us about how you feel. And remember that we are no longer on the radio station. We are on YouTube. And you can just go to YouTube and type in Dirty Laundry with Chris and Karen, and it's going to come up with a number of our shows. And you can always send us an email at
Dirty Laundry, Chris and Karen @gmail.com. We also have a Facebook page, Dirty Laundry with Chris and Karen, or you can comment at the bottom of our little square.
Right.
But yeah, if you're lonely, get a hold of us, talk to us, we'll listen.
Yes, always.
And we will always respond.
Yes.
Always. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. You guys are great.
Yeah, it was wonderful to have a conversation.
Yeah, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.